All right, pre-algebra, if you're watching this, you need help on your functions packet, or you're retaking your functions test. So I'm going to start with these two things really quick. And let's start with our function packet. So the key is making sure you're reading the directions. So this one says write the equation of a line with the given slope and y-intercept. And so we know the equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, right? We plug in a number for m and we plug in a number for b. We leave y and x in our equation, right? And so if it says my slope is -3, we know that m is my slope. So I've got y equals -3. I leave x. And my y-intercept is my plus b, and it's a +7. So that's my answer there. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing with number 2 on your own. And right here, again, we're writing an equation, same thing, writing an equation of this line based on the graph. And again, it's y equals mx plus b. You are plugging in a number for m and plus b. It doesn't really matter which one you start with. We'll start with slope since it comes first. So I know I'm going to have y equals, and then I'm going to find my slope. I can connect these. So remember, from a graph, slope is rise over run. And so I've got to think of how this line is rising and running. I'm going to do that by drawing a triangle. And I'm going to draw this point right there. I'm noticing that it crosses right at a line. So my rise here, I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. You should be writing this on your paper with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my rise is 3 and my run is 5. Rise is 3, run is 5. And it's going up, so this is a positive slope. And so since that's my slope, 3/5 x. Again, I leave y and I leave x. Now my plus b is my y-intercept. That's where this line crosses the y-axis. The y is the one that's vertical. So right there, that's the y-intercept. And that number is -1. And so I can write plus -1 if I want, or I can just write -1. Doesn't really matter, but there's that answer. Okay, pay attention on numbers 4 and 5. You don't have a positive slope, so include that in your answer. Okay? If you'd like to do one more, let's do one more for an example. Let's do this one right here. Okay, I will do this for you. Some places that this crosses the line. It's right here, so you can find your slope there. That's going to help you find your slope, your rise, and your run. Okay, let's do this one. The lines are already drawn there. The dots are already drawn for your line. Okay, so I've got y equals, I'm going to find my slope first, my rise over my run. And so I'm rising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my run is 2, so my rise over my run, but I really want to reduce that. So I'll divide both of those by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. Or I can think 6 divided by 2 is actually just 3. So 3 over 1x is fine, but it's just 3x because my slope, remember we're plugging in slope, and now I have to find my plus b, my y-intercept. So where does this line cross the y-axis? Go ahead and find that on your own first. And it's right there at -3. Right? And oh, my slope is a negative slope, so it's -3x. All right, let's go to the next page. All right, let's start with number 10. So this is just, given the table, find your slope. Right, so if I'm going to find my slope, remember, there is no rise and run, right? And so it's something else. Y over your x. Remember, y cry over your x. So y is on top of x. It's the change in y over the change in x. So how is y changing? How do we get from 12 to 14 to 16 to 18? And you might notice that we're just adding 2 each time, right? So we're adding 2. So my change in y is 2. And then how is my x changing? Well, I started at -6, and I'm actually becoming less negative or more positive. And so each time I'm adding 1. I'm adding 1, and so it's 2 over 1. Careful not to put 1 over 2. Okay, so you can write 2 over 1 or just 2. Okay, so you're going to do that for these other two. Okay, change in y. How does 3 become 6? How does 9 become 12? How does 14 become 12? And right here, how does negative 10 become negative 8? Okay, so changing y over changing x, same thing. Okay. Down here, we're actually going to do something different for function rules. So writing linear tables, and I'm going to skip to the back here. All right, so here we've got an equation. We actually have to draw the line. So let's remind ourselves this is y equals mx plus b. So notice they left the x and the y. This is the linear equation. So we can't just start graphing our rise over run because my slope is 1/2. I'm sure you noticed that. Okay, I can't just start rising 1, running 2 anywhere I want. I need to have a place to begin. Okay, and I like to think we begin with a plus b, our y-intercept. And so remember, this plus b here, -4, is where the line that I'm about to draw crosses the y-axis. And that's at -4. So not +4, but 1, 2, 3, -4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. From this point right here, not the origin, but this point right here, I can rise 1 and run 2. So rise 1 and run 2, and I put a dot. And then I do that again from this point now. Rise 1, run 2. From this point, rise 1, run 2. And I can connect those. Okay, and there we have a positive slope, and that's what I want. This is a positive 1/2. Okay, let's do the one right below this. Okay, and I'm going to ask that you take your, let's write this, y equals mx plus b. Let's start with our plus b. Let's begin. Okay, and we notice that our plus b is -2, so 1, 2. This is where we're going to start. And then I'm going to ask that you write your slope over off to the side, but instead of putting the negative just out front, put it either with a 3, like this, or the 4, like this. Because these are the same. It doesn't matter where your negative is as long as there's only one of them, because we only want one, and it's with one of those. Okay, so I'll start with this top one. Okay, so think of this like rising on an elevator. You can rise up and you can rise down, right? And so on an elevator, if you're going negative, you're going down. So 1, 2, 3 down. And now my run has to be positive, and this is towards the positives. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So notice my line is going to look something like that, right? But if you did it this way, you're going to get the same line. And I'm going to show you why. So this time we're rising positive. 1, 2, 3. But now our run is negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There, our run is negative. And do you see how when this line extends, I'm going through that line right there? Okay, so it didn't matter which way you did that. Let's take a look at this one right here. Okay, a lot of times students, you know your plus b. Okay, but your slope is 3, so you have only a rise, right? And so think, what can you put any number over as a fraction? You can put any number over, 1, right? So now your rise is 3, and your run is 1. So I'm gonna let you do that on your own. Start with your y-intercept, and from that point, rise 3, run 1. Rise 3, run 1, okay? You can skip this one, but you've got those 3 now to do on your own, okay?